Hey everyone, Lazy here, and in this video I will address the most commonly asked questions and concerns about my Gemling Legionnaire build. I am still continuing to experiment with the build further and explore ways to optimize it, so anyway, if I stop making video on this build, you can find out all the latest informations in the Mobalytics guide, so be sure to check it out there. As per usual, timestamp will be available as well, so feel free to skip to the part where you're interested. I also have some full mapping showcase to show you what it's like to map with this build in the endgame. And yeah, let's get right to it. Okay, one of the questions I have is why did I choose the 3 Dragon Helmet over the core or the Brotherhood ring? Now, in short, the 3 Dragon Helmets allows you to scale lightning damage for shockburst round, and while the core or the Brotherhood ring does not. But if you want to hear more detailed explanations, here we go. The 3 Dragon Helmets allow us to scale lightning damage because it does not convert lightning damage to cold damage, which allows us to build a freeze effect with lightning damage without sacrificing anything. This is due to how damage conversion works in PoE 2. You can only scale the final converted element, so if the ring converted 100% applying damage to cold damage, we can no longer scale lightning damage effectively. Now, given our positions on the passive skill trees, we have easier access to the lightning damage node, and this end up being even better for us because galvanic shots will now also benefit from more damage, and it will build up freeze even faster than before. Yeah, so in summary, I choose the 3 Dragon Helmet because it's the only option for us to scale lightning damage for our single target setup in the endgame. On the topic of single target damage, it's important to note that your damage output will be sufficient to clear maps up to tier 15 with the early mapping setup. In fact, I managed to clear all the way to tier 15 before switching to the endgame setup using shockburst round, after getting my 4th ascendancy. Now, the boss fight can take around a minute or so on maps, and also depending on the modifiers, because we can't apply bleed to energy shield monsters, so this particular mod will slow down your damage. I highly recommend getting your 4th ascendancy point and transition into the endgame version as soon as possible. You only need 2 crossbow, and they don't even need to be top tier. Like a crossbow with around 400 physical damage costs around 1 divine orb, and you don't even need critical hit on them. Just physical damage will be sufficient. Many builds struggle or don't even bother to do Sanctum, and you can purchase the service on TFT if you prefer. However, if you want to tackle the encounter yourself, you can switch the endgame setup by speccing out of enhanced effectiveness, and this change will sacrifice your tankiness and some damage, but will significantly increase your single target damage. All you need would be a 2nd crossbow. Interestingly enough though, I cleared this boss after like an 8-minute fight or so because I went in blind thinking that my boons will actually affect the final boss in the Sanctum, but it does not. So I went in kinda unprepared, but I still managed to do it on the early mapping setups. And you know what? It feels great. I feel a sense of accomplishment beating a boss without using broken builds. Like, there are many builds out there that can one-shot bosses using mechanics that will likely be nerfed. Lightning Rod, Arbor Storm, Bull Lightnings, or Spark with Lightning Conduit consuming double shock charge. I'm aware that this game is in early access and, it's a controversial topic, but I don't believe they should be a part of the game, especially not in PoE 2. They contradict the philosophy of GGG, but ultimately that's not my decision to make. To me, a boss fight is most enjoyable when the players are required to engage with all the mechanics of the boss and defeat them through skills. I think it's important for a build to both be effectively defensive and offensive, rather than just going full glass cannon and one-shot pinnacle bosses. But anyway, that's just my opinion, so let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about the best gem setups for shockburst round, because after some further playtesting, I believe I found the optimal setup for shockburst round. So anyway, let's go over the individual support gems. The first gem we have is Concentrated Effect, and these gems provide a significant 40% more damage multiplier, and it's also in a different damage multiplier bucket, so it's really good. The AoE portions of the pulse doesn't concern us because this is our primary single target damage skill, so yeah, that's a no-brainer here. For the second gems, we choose Heft, and as previously discussed, Heft increase our maximal physical damage, and this is beneficial because it converts before, like it counts before it converts into the elemental portions, and the pulse damage is converted at the rate of 100%, making this an easy choice for our setup. Then we have lightning infusions, and this gem adds another 25% extra lightning damage, which is also in another multiplier bucket. So yeah, essential, it's really good and it's a must in my opinion. For the last 2 slots, I've seen a lot of setups, but I think the best setup for me personally, I need martial tempo in there. It's for improving the quality of life for this build in particular, because it allows you to shoot faster and reload faster, so it's a smoother gameplay. That leaves us with the final slot, which I consider several options, but ultimately chosen Fresh Clips. It's likely the best choice for maximizing our damage via the more multiply damage bucket, because as you can see here, the only other 2 options we have is Elemental Focus and Primo Armament, which both are 25% more damage. And if you see Fresh Clip, you can see that if it counts for the last 6 seconds how many bolts you reload. So we have 19 bolts, and it takes us about, so we shoot 10 rounds per second, and so it takes us about 2 seconds to fully empty the clips, account for some bolts not counting, right? We have 50% of bolt not counting when shootings, and then reload time and all that stuff. So let's say 2.5 seconds for each rotations. And since it's the past 6 seconds, so we can fit in 2 rotations, which means that we'll do about roughly 38% more damage. You know, I don't have the full calculations, but you can see that how this setup would definitely edge out a little bit on the other setups. So yeah, anyway, that's my discovery with the shockburst round. Let's talk about how to set up your weapon set points in the passive skill trees. I'll try to provide a quick, simple explanation to help you understand this process. And as you may have noticed, my skill tree have changed somewhat since the last guide because I've been experimenting. But by the time this video is published, the guide should also be updated with my current setups. Now, to understand the weapon set skill points, you need to know the following. The game features a standard passive skill trees with a total of 120 points available if you reach level 100. Out of those 120 points, you have 24 passive weapon set skill points to allocate for each weapon set, and it's important to note that they are convertible points but not extra points. So this means in order to achieve my setup, you need to follow these steps. So first, you need to allocate all the passive points available, and then you leave 24 points unspent. Now with those 24 passive points unspent, you can click on each of the weapon set and start allocating them. The points are color-coded, and in my setup, I have allocated a total of 24 skill points, so it shows 0 remaining here. Now if you're still confused, let me provide a quick example. Supposedly, I'll refund some points from the weapon set 1 and weapon set 2. Here and here, so this gives me back 2 passive points as you can see here. Now I can choose to allocate these 2 points in the normal passive skill trees like this, or use them in weapon sets. So for example, I'll do the normal skill tree here. So if you choose to allocate them in the normal passive skill tree here, you will have them effectively, you have these 2 points available for both of your weapons, but you'll be effectively also wasting 2 points that could be in the weapon set since you have 24 points in total to utilize. So to fully utilize the weapon set passive, I'll refund these 2 points and then I'll allocate them to weapon set 1 and 2 just like this. So you click on weapon set 1, allocate them, and then click on weapon set 2 and allocate them like this, okay? So you see now that I'm using the second weapon, which is linked to my galvanic shots and shockburst round, which is also highlighting in the passive skill tree like this. Now, if I were to switch to weapon set 1, it will display the passive skill tree for that weapon set. So you see that it's no longer highlighting the green line here, but it's showing a red line here. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully this clarifies any confusion you might have regarding the topic, right? Alright, so let's talk about what I changed since the last time I published these skill trees. And yeah, let's quickly go over. So I had to get more points, which means I drop all the notes over here. And for the weapon set 1, essentially, I'm grabbing this node over here. This cluster here just gives straight damage. I'm trying to spec out of crit because I feel like crit is not that good. So yeah, that's gone over here too. Now, the second change I made was a little bit more about quality of life. And it's weapon swap speeds. And this 3 nodes over here give us about 90% weapon swap speeds, and that's essentially double it. And because of the way we are playing right now, we are using 2 crossbow and this mech it so our weapon just, swap very fast and it's just very smooth gameplay. So you need that. I also spec Adrenaline Rush into the main skill trees. Yeah, just good. And beside that, I think I also spec into Jack of all trades and get some attribute here and there and get some extra damage. I also get a new amulets with, attribute on them. And I'll talk about my gears a little bit later, but this would help me get more damage and also help me spec out some of these nodes for more strengths. And we also have strengths over here as well. So yeah, I'm at 3500 HP right now, so it's pretty comfortable place. And I feel like my build is very tanky at the moment, at least for mapping. For weapon sets 1, I also spec it to exploit. This is because we always gonna use it on the frozen targets, or at least they had shield. So yeah, eventually this node is just very good. Just give just like 50% extra damage. Yep. Okay, so that's pretty much it. My endgame plan is still pathing all the way to beef, and yeah, then if nothing changed, this will be the endgame skill trees. Alright, so let me quickly show you a map, and this is my current Atlas tree. You can see I'm taking deadly evolutions and twin threats, and I'm having boss difficulty 3. This is gonna be way different than the difficulty 0 boss. And another thing is I'm not really having fun with the endgame system right now, at least for mapping. Most of my time I'm just spending, actually just doing Sanctums and thinking about my next build, actually. Yeah, so I feel like this build is going to be pretty good, at least in map. As you can see here, galvanic shots to freeze everything. And then you can shoot the frozen mobs with the fragmentation round, and you can basically move on because contagions and poison will take care of the rest. This also can do ritual pretty well. Basically, you just if there's like more ritual in the rituals, like the contagions can keep spreading and keep killing everything. So, but actually, there's only 3 ritual in this map, so I'm not sure if it's not gonna be that good. I don't really remember, but I just pick a random map and go really. Yeah, I think I'll go straight to boss here. Just let me quickly show you the boss. I think it turned that off so we don't inflate the damage. For the boss single target damage rotations, basically you will prepare the shock ground ahead of time with the bow lightning and lightning warps. Then I like to open with fragmentation round for some armor break. I'm not sure if that's gonna matter too much because the pulse damage is full lightning. And then we have just start spraying, yeah. After you empty your first clip, you are going to use emergency reload to basically get another clips for free, save you some reload time. And yeah, keep spraying, you get extra damage from that. And I feel like this build attack very fast. The boss is also frozen. You also get like a 43% shock, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the boss rotation. That's pretty good. Actually, another tips is when you swap to the endgame setup, when you do rituals or any other like leg mechanics that, let's say expeditions, you could also prepare the shock round ahead of time, so you will do more damage to the monster that is standing on the shock round because it's shock. Well, one of the things I like about this version is that you are very mobile throughout the maps, and especially in bad layout map like this. You have Blink, you have Adrenaline, you have Onslaught, as you can see on the top left of the screens. Whenever you have this buff up, you attack, move very fast. And, when we don't really have to, because we don't really get to choose what map we run. And eventually you are going to have to run a bad layout map like this one. This one is actually one of the worst, honestly. So this map, you know, in a good layout, I could finish a map in like 3 or 4 minutes, but this map I think take like 6 or 7 minutes just because the layout is pretty bad. But yeah, I kind of want to show you how it looks in like a bad layout maps. Alright, so another thing I like to address is my philosophy in making build, and it's because I think about the build I want to play how I imagine it's gonna play, and right now it's playing exactly like how I imagined. I like to free stuff, I like to shatter it with fragmentation round, and I had enough single target DPS to clear the endgame, and so yeah, I think I have accomplished everything I want with this build. And I'm not gonna let people say like, hey, why don't you chase meta, right? Like if you wanna play the build that's good, that's really good, you just go ahead and play the meta build. And you're just gonna have to work extra hard to be able to afford all the expensive item that comes with it, right? Like all the bows, creepers are very expensive. You could play Deadeye, Lightning Arrow, this is the meta right now, it's clear really well, but then you also have to invest a lot of money. You could play it on a budget, but defensively, it's not that good. But anyway, I'm not here to discuss which build is better or if my build is the best. I don't think my build is the best at all. It's enough to clear the endgame content, right? And right now, I'll probably think about my next build, and I'm not... So, the philosophy of me playing a build in PoE is that I want to play what is fun, and the feeling of going from 0 to hero is what makes an ARPG good. So, I don't like to copy other people, I like to play my own things, and I like to figure stuff out. Optimizing is part of the game, and if you're playing, say you're playing my build and you can't clear maps, or like you have problem, then you start figuring out how to optimize your characters, you start asking the right questions, and you'll become a better PoE player. And ultimately that's my goal, right? My goal is not to provide the template copies of what is the best build, because you know you could easily go look it up on the internet. What's the best meta build right now? You will see Sparks, Archmage Sparks, Archmage Lightning Conduit, Deadeye Lightning Arrow. You know, those are the really strong build. Invokers have really strong build as well. So yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents on which build is the best, right? Ultimately, you play how you like to play. You want to play a meta build, go ahead and play a meta build. You want to try my build and you have to optimize extra hard to make things work, go ahead and do that. I mean, I feel like the game is best learned when you trying out a build and you try to optimize it. And that's a part of the game that is fun to me. But, you know, it might not be for everyone. People like to just, you know, play the strong build and then just don't have to worry about making a build at all, you know? I spent a lot of time in PoE 1 doing the same thing, just copying other people's build. But then eventually, I like to make my own build, and it comes from experience. So if you really want to learn about the game, really want to optimize your characters, then eventually you are going to have to learn how to make a build, right? You don't have to make builds from scratch. You can copy other people's ideas, and that's the nice thing about PoE, because we have a nice community over here. So people like to share ideas, people comes up with some crazy theory craft, and someone that's good at building will make it works. Yeah, but anyway, I think that was the map. Hope you enjoyed the mapping showcase, and let me quickly talk about my gears. Alright, so my first crossbows is a 500 physical DPS crossbow with no crit and mana leech and mana on kill. So this helps a little bit with the mana costs, and if you have any leech on weapons, make sure you put it on your first weapons, because fragmentation round does physical damage. My second crossbow is essentially my old crossbow. It's a 488 physical damage with strength, crits, and yeah, some life leech. And ideally you want this weapon to be stronger than the first, because you are using shockburst round with this. Next is the mandatory unique helmet, and eventually I'll try to get my helmet with 2 sockets for extra chaos rest. And my amulet is new, and I am now allocating Price of Freedoms on this amulet because it really helps with mana problems. It also have all attribute and int, which is really good as well, because as you can see here, I'm taking Jack of all trades, so I want my dex and int to be very close to each other. And as you can see, my dex and int are both at 103, so I can get 20% increased damage from Jack of all trades. I'm using a Dead Rush ring for mapping because onslaught is good, and a Bridge ring with lightning damage to attack. Increased lightning damage, res, rarity, and some strength. So this ring is pretty good. I think I got it for 2 divine. The lightning damage really helped with our single target damage, so try to get it on your ring and gloves if possible. I haven't really changed my glove, but I'll probably try to get a better one with added lightning damage to attack. The belt's still the same, my boots are still the same, and yeah, overall I haven't invested too much into these characters, but as you can see, it can map pretty well and it does bosses pretty good. So anyway, lastly, let's talk about jewels, as I changed a few jewel, I think. And ideally, you want 2 damage mod on most of your jewel. And also tips, you want to corrupt your jewel as well, because they can give good implicit like resistance, which is pretty nice, yeah. So yeah, here are pretty much all my jewels, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So anyway, Merry Christmas, guys. Enjoy your time with the family and friends, or PoE, right? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.